welcome back to another episode of the Whisky Diaries. My name is Matt Lang, and today we're going to be talking about the Highland Park 10-year-old. This Highland Park 10-year-old is a new revamped whiskey that is called Viking Scars. Before we go into the bottling and what happened with it, so we're just going to go with a little bit of history on Highland Park. We have done in the past a couple of videos on Highland Park. We've got the origins and we've got the 30-year-old if you want to have a look at them. But if you haven't, then I'll just revamp on the history. Now, Highland Park started in 1789. Actually, that was not the actual starting date. That was the day that Magnus Eunson, the founder of Highland Park, got caught illicit distilling. So Eunson, or Magnus, he was actually a farmer and a butcher during the day, and at night he used to do illicit distilling until in 1789 he got discovered illicit distilling. Now, after that, 30 years later, he actually managed to get a distilling license, and he created something that is called Highland Park. Highland Park is situated in the island of Orkney, which is the northest distillery in the world. And if you actually look Orkney in the Google Maps or in the maps itself, is actually ages and ages and ages away, and actually was one of the first islands to be colonized by the Vikings. Hence, Highland Park has a very big heritage towards the Vikings themselves. So the bottle in itself for the 10-year-old usually used to come in a very smooth bottle. Now it's completely redone, and it has all Vikings symbols and like little contours, if you want to say, on the bottle, and it actually looks really, really beautiful. Now, Viking Scars is related to one of the 9 virtues that the Vikings actually used to take pride on. Now, Eunson, or Magnus, the initial founder, has actually his grandfathers or great-grandfathers were actually Vikings as well, and the island itself takes a lot of pride on being Viking descendant. Now, Highland Park as well, in the distillery itself, let's talk about that for a little bit as well. They have won so many awards. Highland Park is regarded by whiskey insiders as one of the greatest whiskies in the world. As a matter of fact, it won 3 years in a row Best Distilled Spirit in the world, which is really, really, really exciting, because it's not even just whiskey. They won in every category of distilled spirit in the world. Now, Highland Park is also, they have a sister venue that is Macallan as well. So because of that, they have a really, really good sherry, barrel program. The Highland Park has about 60 to 80% of all the whiskies are aged in sherry casks. The sherry casks, they come directly from Spain, and in Spain, in Jerez, they get them either from America or European oak. Then they age Oloroso sherry for about 2 years. Then they ship it. All the casks are handmade in Spain as well, regardless if it's American oak or Spanish oak. So they get the oak, they build them themselves, they put the sherry, and then they send the casks to Orkney. It's a long trip to get there as well. So once they get to the island as well, then the sherry cask gets emptied and the whiskey gets put on. Now, another couple of interesting facts about the distillery itself is that it's the only distillery in the world that they use Orkney peat. Now, Orkney Islands is actually quite destroyed by wind and by nature in itself, so there's not many trees out there. So all the whiskey gets actually, the barley, they get dried, and the stills get heated up by peat, by the local peat that gets there. And the peat there is actually quite heathery as well, and it's been like being pressed for like 4 to 9,000 years in there. So it's a very slow burning peat, which it gives its characteristically distinct flavor to Highland Park. The other interesting fact as well, because Highland Park is regarded as a really, really big distillery, like it's a pretty big distillery. The output is only 2.5 million liters a year, and they only have 4 stills, 2 wash stills and 2 spirit still, which is not as big as you would think of a whiskey that popular. Now, the whiskey in itself, this one is a 10-year-old bottle at 43% ABV. It's mainly Oloroso sherry casks, and this one, to be honest, is quite affordable. It sells for like $60, $70 in Australia. In America, this one is actually not available in America. In America, this one gets replaced for a non-age statement that is called Magnus. So as we said in many videos before, age statement doesn't mean that the whiskey is better. But anyway, so the 10-year-old, yep, Oloroso sherry casks, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There is to it to the 10-year-old. There's a lot of reviews out there that says that the 12-year-old, for a little bit more money, the 12-year-old is a lot more rounded spirit. We do have a review on the videos if you want to look at it as well on the 12. I personally think that they're both great whiskies. This one is a lot lighter, and it feels like it already has. It feels like it's younger than 10-year-old, but obviously it would be illegal to put an older age in the bottle. Now, what I usually get when I smell Highland Park, besides the obvious smokiness that it has, I usually get a lot of dark chocolate, like a little bit of orange zest as well. It's actually a delicious whiskey. Yeah, it's a classic Highland Park. It is young. It does feel young. It has like a little fresh. There's a little bit of apples and pears in the back as well. But then you get that heathery, smoky aromas that you get from Highland Park. So delicious whiskey. So hopefully you enjoy this one, and we'll see you next time. Salanjaba.